Medical Dilemma.
Welcome back to Medical Dilemma. Again, we'd like to say thank you to our major sponsors, St. Clair's Medical Center and LifeQuest Training and Consultancy Corporation. Okay, now going back to what we were talking about earlier, there was some mention of legal provisions that tackle these issues. Okay, what are these legal provisions that we have now?
If I remember right, for example, you have a companion, no? And it comes not only with the sex, but even with the second family or a third family. And sometimes you totally forgot the first family. And here comes, who will get where will you get the consent from? To whom will you entrust the body after the patient has died, for example? Kaya that, I think, will be solved with what we call the living will. You either authorize a person, durable power of attorney, to be the one to decide in case you become incompetent when you are sick, for example. And I was encouraging some of the hospitals to do that because talagang problema yan eh. For example, you don't know yung husband or wife of a long time ago, di na nila mamukhaan kung sino sila or where they are, and then that's what they're looking for. See, the companion is not given any authority, but if you particularly write in a document that this is the person who will decide, so whether they're same sex or not, this is the person who decides for me once I become incompetent, that is very legal. Panauthorize pa nila yan. That should be accepted, right?
Yes,
Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, so that's a very good practice, if you will, as a matter of policy. Because we've had recent events that serves as a perfect illustration for that. And that, yes, that could have been helpful at that time. Na kung may durable power of attorney na yung second companion, as you said, you know, she's not the wife, but she's the live-in partner.
Yes,
no?
yes.
And you know, at the time of death, who do you endorse, for example, the body of that person? And had he been living, he would have wanted his current live-in partner to be the one to take care of things. But because he didn't leave a document to that effect, there was an issue. So merong litigation in that aspect. And everything goes to the legal wife, the married wife.
Yeah, it's happening,
so,
right?
Yes.
And not only with that, even those without spouses anymore, and they still have living children, kuminsan 10 ang mga anak. And legally, they should all have equal rights to decide.
Yes,
But if you put their particular name, like my middle son, Jose something, who should decide, who has the money, for example, the patient is close to and trusts very much. So, di yun ang papadecide niya. I think this is a good practice.
Yes,
Should be a good practice in hospitals.
It will clarify things in anticipation of, you know, something
issues
like when the patient is no longer there or is not capable to decide.
Right.
And it's true whether, as you said, Doktora, kahit na a same-sex partner yan, live-in partner, or even your spouse, your legally married spouse, no? That issue will arise. So it's a very good practice, I think, for medical practitioners, for hospitals to make sure that the next of kin or whoever the partner is will have a durable power of attorney.
Yeah, in a rare event, for example, the husband is abroad, OFW, and now you have another friend whom you trust also.
Yes.
Pwede mabigay doon. Will there be any legal complication if the husband, who is supposed to be the next of kin, is abroad and cannot give the decision? Can this be overturned that or override the right of the husband? I mean, you now have a durable power, and I'm including there my neighbor because siya lang nandyan palagi. No? I think that would be
That's possible.
That would be okay.
For example, if the patient is about to go into surgery or some serious and then the caretaker is the nearest friend or the nearest neighbor, and sa kanya binigay yung power of attorney in lieu of the husband who's abroad, that will be honored. But in case of death, then that's when the loss of succession comes in.
Okay, so it cannot surpass the loss of succession.
No, it cannot. But that is assuming that's the time of death, though. So that will be the point of consideration from that moment on.
But while the patient is living, the power of attorney holds.
Yes, but you have to remember it's a limited power of attorney. So
Unlimited.
Limited. So
Unlimited.
Limited, not unlimited. So it's not a general power of attorney. It's a special. It's limited. So it means it enumerates what that person can do in case of any eventuality.
Okay. So I'm still thinking from the perspective of same-sex unions or households. They can use this as a legal remedy for at least issues that arise while both of them are alive.
Yes, yes. They can definitely do that. In fact, in the absence of our, our civil laws recognizing same-sex unions, there are other laws that can supplement that, like general law on partnership, for example, or if you're living in with your partner, live-in meron din silang certain rights, so that should apply. But it's still better that you have something written down and signed by both parties. Maganda nga may witnesses pa and notarized, so that you can really say that I did not manipulate this document, na off-in-orge ko lang ang signature, so that there be no issues like that once the need to exercise your power of attorney arises. Because there will be questions, there will be clouds of doubt, and not just for same-sex unions.
Kumisan after the patient or a person dies, ang dami nang lumalabas na problema. There are many claimants sometimes, especially kung maraming property. Kaya it is very clear. But even in the cases of adoption, they allow, right? Even a single person to adopt. And kung dalawa pa kayo, why not? Basta you follow what is supposed to be the law.
I see. Are doctors expected to advise patients of this special power of attorney?
It would be nice, especially when there's some confusion about who should decide. Lalo kung maraming anak, for example, at saka yung spouse living nga pero incompetent na, may Alzheimer's na, etc. We advise sometimes. It would be nice, but that is not yet the trend in most hospitals currently.
Dr. Gomez, have you had any personal experience with regards to this matter?
Anesthesia lalo, no? Di ba you're the one getting consent for...
Yeah, but we always ask your advice. You see, be very careful.
The medical legal or the
you
surgeon?
have to go back to the medical legal
we'll just
officer.
ask her. Because she's the one in our hospital. No. First, if you find a problem, there's a problem. Well, the best is really to ask. Unless you be part of the problem, you make a mistake. So you better, you should be able to identify the problem. If you can't really solve it on your level, then you ask our medical legal officer in the hospital. You should know.
Our role there is clarified.
Yes,
no?
Yeah. We're really very careful. Yeah, because we had lessons in medical legal.
Okay, so best approach is to consult the medical legal officer of the hospital.
Or the legal counsel of the hospital.
Legal counsel of the hospital. All right. Okay, now Attorney Sara, you mentioned that there are some other laws that supplement this legal provision. What are they again?
And they're also in the family code. For example, they're just living in together. For example, they're not married. Pero kasi that also presupposes union between man and woman, which, as I said, can just supplement, or we can apply in equal parts to a same-sex union. Na we treat it as a partnership. What you bring into the marriage is yours, and then whatever we earn together during the time that we are together is commonly shared. So yung ganon yun.
So those provisions can actually be applied in same-sex families or households.
It can be argued that this can apply. But it would be better if we have by derivative. But it will be better if we have specific laws, I guess. It depends if I guess the trend is going to increase yung civil unions na to, no? But as I said, there's still a void, so it's still better if you have everything in black and white.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it takes a long time to pass a law. So by the time you pass it, nag-iba na naman yung situation.
The lifestyle of society.
Sunny, I remember when I make my rounds the night before a surgery, when I visit the patient, I ask, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? You're the wife, you're the bantay, you're the katulong, you're the kapatid. I make sure. So now that you posed the question to me, I make sure who is in the room, who will be there tomorrow, especially if there will be decision making. So basically, I know because I made my rounds. But when there's a dilemma, you always ask the medical legal officer.
Okay. So
if there's problem.
So if let's say the patient is a
foreigner with just a girlfriend.
Foreigner with a male partner, for example. Pareho silang male. Then you have a question now before you. So then you go to the legal counsel or the medical legal officer.
Consulate.
Or have everything written down. If there's really no one it's just a caretaker. There's no one else.
I see.
But that is a dilemma.
You know, I'm known
Yes,
to
attorney.
the public, general public. We do have what we call laws that really encourage women empowerment. They really give more rights to women because in the olden days we accept it. The men are the one ahead. Well, they're the ones making laws. They're the ones appearing, and it is still occurring in some countries, no? Sa Philippines nga medyo bida-bida pa nga. Masarap ang buhay ng mga babae sa
of course,
Pilipinas. You know, even the
Matriarchal.
doctor acknowledges that.
Agree. My own family, my own clan.
Yeah.
Matriarchal.
So may power din ang babae. But in the government and even in some private societies, no, they do not. So there is the law that steps in and says, after a few years, there must be equal opportunities for both men
and women.
So ngayon, mostly, for example, denominated in sports, for example, in management, mostly denominated by the male.
Yes.
But now, they're saying now, sa ating labor, no, that at a certain period of time, dapat equal na ang male at female ratio of employees, for example, or those with given equal opportunities. For example, you have scholarships. It must be given equal to male and female. It will, so we were given a certain timetable. But sabi nga nila, if no one is interested, no female is interested, so there's no choice. It will become male-dominated. Diba? Kunwari, drivers. Do you think public utilities, do you think we get a lot of women drivers? No. But we should not be using that. The fact that they're female, they cannot apply. Of course, they can apply. Yun ang difference.
When is this provision supposed to take place?
No, I think it's already started. It has already started. I don't know if it's in the Magna Carta for women. I think it appears there. And another, going to that, even VAUSI, violence against women and children, is one form of gender empowerment also, in a way. No? What is it? If a male hurts a female or harms somebody from the opposite side, and simply because that person is female, that would be bias, right? That would not be sensitive, gender sensitive. Ganon.
Well, I'm just thinking of the situation, like, you know, in running an organization, a big business or a big company. So if we force the equal number of women and men, then I suppose that disregards the matter of capability, qualification.
But I think sa private corporations, they do have a lot of leeway. It's when it has some public impact. For example, government institutions. That's where it really has to be applied. For example, kami, women lawyers, member kami ni Sarah, we're only women. We don't fit
specifically just
men.
for women.
But does that make us gender insensitive? No naman, no? So it's mostly government areas.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'm wrong in my thinking. It's just that I can't seem to, get the connection between equal numbers of men and women to being,
equal
sensitive to gender.
Maybe. Equal opportunities to both men and women. In other words, if you don't use that opportunity, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not interested in applying for that particular job.
Or if there are not enough men or women that are capable of a particular,
or capable or competent for that particular work.
So I don't think that should be taken against whichever organization seems to be committing the infraction.
Proof, right? Because pag kumalat, nagkaroon ng reputation, talagang hindi ito. Like some clubs. But then that's again private again. Maybe the government institution.
Yes, as you said, your question is, I think, does being gender sensitive undermine managerial discretion, for example, in hiring or firing employees? Well, the answer is it should not. No, it should be a balance between achieving a gender sensitive workplace and also at the same time not undermining the managerial discretion in hiring or firing employees, for example, because you're looking at how can you improve the company's productivity or performance. So it's not necessary. But as Dr. said, we can also frame it another way. We want to empower women, for example. We don't want a predominantly male board, making decisions for this company, for example. So that's why in the matter of choosing an employee, you disregard the gender. You just look at, for example, the
Sex,
capabilities
the
or
sex.
sex, or gender preference.
Correct.
Yeah, so just look at the capabilities of each of the candidates. Without thinking, ito babae to, pag nagkaasawa to, manganganak to, magma-maternity leave to. That's what gender empowerment seeks to achieve in the workplace, for example. Although, as I say, it should not undermine managerial discretion. If you think candidate A is more suited than candidate B, and it turns out candidate A is a male, then so be it.
It shouldn't be taken against him.
Yes, it shouldn't be taken against him because he is male. Because that's also being gender insensitive to the male.
Okay, going back to the issue of sexual harassment, it just occurred to me, can a male subordinate accuse a female superior of sexual harassment under our law?
Yes, I think I've already, I haven't handled the case, but meron na nag-consult sa akin yan. Because you see, a sexual harassment occurs in a work environment, educational, or training ground or training environment. No? So if the mere fact that you ask your subordinate for a favor, a sexual favor, in exchange for promotion or in promise of employment,
increase.
yes, etc., whatever benefit that's work or education or training related, then that in itself is considered sexual harassment. So regardless of the gender,
regardless
who
of the
did
gender.
what, yes. And in fact, being gender sensitive also should affect males in the sense na before we only thought of women getting raped, but men also get raped, for example.
That's why our new laws on rape recognizes the fact that the male can also be raped. Before, the moment nangyari na rape, gay thing, for example, they got raped by another male, the worst that can be granted, the penalties, the crime is what we call maybe serious physical injuries. Ganon lang. But now, they can really be raped. So both men and women can be raped. That's where we are equal also now.
I see. Okay, so now we're equal under the law in matters of rape. Okay, well, we've reached the end of our show, I'm sorry to say. So maybe we can have some part